All right, y'all, get ready with your pit boy and your baseball bat. Let's get ready to kill some rad roaches.
Watch the series finale of X-Men next Saturday morning. Check your local listings.
Hello. You want the goodies? Welcome to the goodie room.
And the Disney stock just keeps going down and down and down. And then Bob Iger is all like, what's going on?
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
I'm bag of pixie dust. Contraband.
They're going to do the Mary Poppins thing. They're going to do it. They're going to do it.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. The kids know that the only way to fly, Wizard Pepper.
Oh, bitch, you killed Kenny.
Kenny.
You fat hoe.
I thought all you dipshits were dead.
Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Reina Creole, and so glad you are all here with me. Welcome to the Spice Lounge, where we have fun throwing out those hot takes and spicy conversation when it comes to various pop culture topics, and of course, no spin zone we got going on here. And so excited because for the first time we're going to have Epic Mike of the Geeks and Gamers crew on the show. So I'm very, very glad he's going to be here, of course, along with my usual gang of friends. So to encompass the show, we got our hot topics to start out with that are hot off the press. We're going to talk about Shogun on FX and why, if you haven't watched it, you might want to consider watching it. Alan Ritchson getting diarrhea of the mouth again, and maybe, just maybe, that might have affected the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare's box office numbers, and of course, the new Deadpool and Wolverine trailer. So we have got a packed show for you guys as usual. So we're gonna first bring on all ignore my phone. Shut up. Let's bring on everybody. First, we got our special guest, Epic Mike. We have got Vash Sky. We have got Culture Casino. We have got Retro Nerd Girl. And of course, we have got Views with Hughes. Welcome, everybody. How are you all doing?
Really good.
All aboard. Nope. And Views
I
is...
think you're muted.
He's muted.
Yeah,
is
you're
this
muted.
A bit? Must be a bit because
I'm just playing.
Nice.
Going at it, I was like, at some point you got to know, like there ain't nothing on the other end.
You know, like it wasn't muted at all. You should have seen the icon and everything, and indicate there's muted and stuff.
Gotcha.
Well, for me, I don't have an icon.
Yeah,
she tapped her
that's
mic.
why I brought that up.
She tapped her mic. She got that magic mute.
Yeah, magic.
Now,
mute
see now,
one.
yeah, we can see.
Yeah,
that.
now it is. Now, Hughes just decided to pull a fatal J. That's
right.
what he decided. Fatal will do that on the Dark Council.
Yeah.
Which, you get to check out right after this show. We're going to route you on over to the Dark Council. That is, if I freaking did this right. So you guys were all good?
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. Living a dream or something.
Somebody's
dream.
Pay attention, it's showtime.
All set.
Oh, wow. All right.
I like that. All right, let's see. Oh my gosh, you guys are kicking it off here. Mark Daly with the $5 super chat. Thank you so very much. And for being a channel member, I so appreciate that. It says Pixie Dust. Is that what the aptly named Matt Maloney was on when he said KK wasn't woke? That's what happens when you sniff too much of that stuff.
Yeah, gotta stay out the booger sugar. That ain't.
Yeah.
Are coming up with some wild takes there. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of bologna sausage you spit out of the puck area there.
Mhm.
It doesn't surprise me because I swear Hollywood just thinks we all have short memories and just no, you didn't see anything. If you remember the penguins from Madagascar, that movie was like you didn't see anything.
Indeed.
Oh, in the words of Judge Judy, do not pee on my leg and tell me it's raining. That's what y'all doing with this whole KK.
Did I echo?
Not woke. No.
Hello.
Nope. I hear you good.
You sure?
Yep. I'm sorry.
Hmm?
I'm sorry. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
I love how it's all about you know what, woke. What does woke mean? What does it mean anymore? It's overused. It's all this kind of stuff. But then they know exactly what it means when they're saying that this person isn't woke. I love that right there. Melanie carrying the water for the Walt Disney Company as always.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Especially the big three.
Yeah.
Deadline, Hollywood Reporter, and what's that other one? Variety. Yeah. The triumvirate up. Maybe I'll call them
fake
I'm gonna
news.
call them the Access Powers from now on. That's what I'm gonna call them.
Hey, they're all owned by Penske Media Group, so good call.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Thank It's a place for becoming a channel member. I sure do appreciate that. Thank you so very much. Love the channel. I love all y'all anyway, but love the channel members. Got so much stuff coming for you guys. There's so many videos and live streams. Most notably, the live stream that we did where we watched Song of the South, all of it. You might want to go back. Yeah.
Nice.
Who's coughing?
Who's what?
Who's coughing?
Oh, not me. Not me.
It's
Not
all
me.
fake
I didn't-
news.
Well, don't
Wow.
worry, because eventually we are going to have a live watch party of Song of the South. Yeah, it's coming. Trust me, it's coming.
Zippity.
I just got to fix my schedule. I
For
can't
sure.
wait for that. That's going to be an interesting one. Whenever you say welcome to my channel, for some reason, I have Rizzo from Muppet Vision 3D in my head saying, welcome to my park.
That's
Hello, how you doing? Welcome to my park. When he was dressed up
With his
like Mickey
foolishness.
Mouse. Oh, that will never get old. Do I
So
still get my
good.
$5?
What do you get out of here?
Oh man.
All right, folks, we have got a jam-packed show for you today. 20 of you, 8 of you guys in here already. Thank you so very much. Please do hit that like button. Please do share the stream. We've got a packed panel as usual and Epic Mike as our special guest this week. We're so glad to have him here. So let's start off with the story that, and I'm really going to let Retro Nerd Girl take the lead on this one. This broke my heart when I saw this because we're losing too many of these guys. Terry Carter of Battlestar Galactica, OG Battlestar Galactica, and McLeod actor dies at 95. I used to watch Battlestar Galactica. This was one of those classics that didn't matter. You had it on DVD.
That was my jam.
Yes, that was like the thing that you watched. And you want to talk about diversity before diversity was cool. Battlestar Galactica was doing the damn thing. And Terry Carter was one of 2 black actors on the show. But I'll let you take it away, Retro Nerd Girl, since you're the retro person.
Yeah, this is my early childhood. Of course, Star Wars came out in 1977, but a few years later they came out with like maybe a year or 2 later they came out with Battlestar Galactica, and a lot of people compared it to Star Wars. In many ways it might have been like it, but it did have a unique story for me being a sci-fi lover, and I absolutely loved all the pew pews and all of that stuff. But he was one of the characters where, you know, if you're he was a solid actor in this movie, and he was actually in a lot of other like black exploitation movies early on. That was really quite entertaining, and it was really great. It was great. He was a great actor, very solid, and really glad to see that he lived a very long life, and kind of sorry though that to see him pass on. We wish that these guys could stay with us forever, but it also is sort of a lets us know that you know, this kind of time is moving on in a way, but also gives us a chance to reflect on some of the fun times. To me, I thought that show was so much fun because you had the Cylons, and they were really unique and funny, and you know, had that little thing, and it was right across their eyes, and
I'm jealous. I'm so jealous, Culture. Hey, hang on. I'm going to have to blow you up for that one. Oh my gosh.
OG. Yes.
Never seen it.
Oh, love that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I want that
That's awesome.
right there.
Yeah, that's a collector's
gosh.
edition. I am a huge fan. I loved it so much. I made my parents take me to Universal like 4 times one year because part of the Universal tram tour had the Cylons like fighting across the tram. Vash knows what I'm talking about. It was ridiculous. Laser bolts going around the. I mean, seriously, the animatronics were they weren't great, but they were fun enough. Things worked out. Things exploded around you. And Colonel Ty, he was so good in this. So thank you, Retro Nerd Girl. I loved this show.
Oh yeah.
That's Keith Culture.
And the other character that you were referring to before was Boomer. Who I was really disappointed that they didn't bring back. You know, they got rid of. Oh, they changed Boomer in the new version of Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I really did love that character, and yeah, these were good times. In many ways, simpler times.
Yeah, fun sci-fi. You had characters walking around, actors like Dirk Benedict smoking a cigar.
Yeah. Starbuck, the original Starbuck.
I had such a crush on Starbuck. It was ridiculous. My mom had to intervene. She was like, I need to intervene. Yeah, you're too young to be having a crush on this, you know, old man. Well, he was about in his 30s or late 20s maybe, but they had a lot of fun. Him and Apollo, they went on these adventures, and they made sci-fi fun. Yeah, love that show so much.
Oh,
I actually have something. Let me see if I have it.
They so did. I think man, I hate it when I have to do this. I think I actually have his autograph from a sci-fi convention years ago, because you know, when you go to some of these conventions, it's like, I don't know who's going to be there, and then you get these people from these OG sci-fi shows like Battlestar Galactica, like Buck Rogers, and you're just like, yeah, I got to get their autograph, and I got to go, and I got to like talk to them. Oh, what you got? I see it, Retro Nerd Girl. I'm so jealous.
Oh,
I am so jealous.
That's so great. Look at that.
Oh, the shrink wrap.
Still in the
I had to open mine and watch them all a bunch of times.
Oh man.
There you go.
Oh, who did that?
It was me.
Sweet.
Oh, there you go. I like
That's
that.
awesome.
That's so awesome, folks. Definitely.
You've got to say by your command.
Yes, you have to say that. You have to say that. But yeah, Terry Carter, please do go and check out his filmography, all the stuff that he has been in. He is what I consider to be yet another trailblazer for Black actors, especially Black male actors in Hollywood. So much grace over the years, and a lot of these young heads can learn from these gentlemen. So definitely,
He was a great man.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, he was. Yes, he was. Well, going from great men to just the absolute stupidity that still goes on in the gaming space right now, Sony replaces the word hard with crime in Stellar Blade after being accused of racism. Now, for folks who aren't aware, there's a lot of haterade going around between the likes of Kotaku and my girl Alyssa Mercante, who still has me blocked. That Stellar
too.
Blade has a problem with, there's attractive characters and it's a male gaze issue, but people have been clamoring for this game. So guess what they find? And the game isn't even really out truly yet.
Yeah,
You
some
guys know about the
graffiti that
story yet?
lines up with I guess some a neon sign, and people who see
Oh,
racism and everything are putting two and two together and going, wait a minute. Yeah, I don't know
yeah.
that.
So this is what we're talking about here, right? So, and shout out to Grums. He says, "Who snitched on Stellar Blade?" It was probably some freaking dev. Who knows what it is? Hard R. The screenshot is so random, and only a milquetoast gaming journalist could have been so offended as to demand Sony take it down. They are the only ones who had access to the game, and IGN credits the photo to themselves. Now, this is, how would I put this? It looks cringe when you see it, but racist, come on now. Look over to the R where it says R stop. That's obviously a train station. Go ahead, Retro Nerd. You guys
Oh no, when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, hard R, like hard. Are they? I mean, I'm not getting where the racist part is, but maybe I'm just clueless. I'm too retro to understand. But this is this looks like hard R is something that you usually say when something's really gritty and is like R rated. That's where I was thinking, but I guess it means something more than that.
I mean, from my growing up, we the hard R was like how you identify somebody that's like racist, because we say like we say with an A, or in songs you hear it with an A, and then somebody drops it with a hard R, you go, wait a minute, what's going on with this?
Pick the needle up off the record.
I got it.
But even with that, that's not inherently racist. It was never inherently racist. It's kind of like that. If anything, that would be that's like a fun like joke to put on something but for them to, I don't know, get upset about something like that. It's so small. It's what's the deal? Like, well, I don't know.
It's really weird because I didn't even see that.
How about who's to say that there's not an E there next to that R or anything else? I mean, there could be an unilluminated character next to the R. We don't. Again, you don't really know, and and how would they even know that it meant that? Who actually designed Stellar Blade to begin with? Shift Up. So I have no idea where that studio is located. All I know is the game looks amazing, and this is the thing that they tried to do to stir up something negative against it, because it, as you guys pointed out, men might be interested in this.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
we have to stop it right away then.
Well, the games journalists, attempting to take this game down because, well, the lead character is just too attractive and she's in these incredibly stupid, sexy outfits, according to Games Radar Plus, has been tweeting about there. That isn't really resonating with a lot of gamers. So it's like, oh, well, let's switch to the racism thing. And again, I mean, they really were stretching for this one because, like Culture said, I mean, this could have been, graffiti that was roughly translated from the original makers of the actual game itself. And, it just happened to be that these two things lined up in this way right here. Again, racists tend to be more overt than this, I would think. This is seeing racism in anything that you that you're viewing because you view everything through a racial lens, and finding it.
It's like they're trying to outdo people in what, like being woke and stuff. You know, it's like they take one thing that doesn't mean anything at all in this context, and then they try to go ahead and accuse the very game of being woke because of the fact that there's like a lot of people out there that's actually taking interest in the game and stuff. It's interesting because of the fact that wokeism and stuff they're putting out there, like it's something that, you know, can be embraced by everybody, everyone's, and welcomed by everyone, but at the same time it's basically a religious system that's slowly dying, but at the same time it's still trying to force people to conform to the woke ideology itself and not conform to the various other religions like Christianity, Islam, as well as Judaism and stuff too. But the fact of the matter is, it begins to, like, you know, target all different networks that you're trying to associate with that's connected to other non-woke nodes and stuff, which is what's damaging about woke ideology itself. It doesn't allow, you know, different members to talk about or consume media of non-woke things and stuff, and those things have to be touched, which is one of the reasons why, you know, they're so infected with infecting organizations, kind of like how Sweet Baby Inc. is doing with these companies, but these companies and everything, like the same company that made Stellar Blade and stuff. I mean, this may seem like a slip up and stuff, but guess what? They're still going to win in the end. And why are they so immune to any like outside criticism, those who promoting the woke ideology and everything that they're facing right now? Because of the fact that they're trying to dehumanize people and stuff that's not a part of their cultural being, okay, or their cultural group, or whatever you want to call it, that they don't even see that their text are as meaningful coming from an honest place, okay? And this well said, well, wow. And you know what? It's amazing how they like welcome those who are Christians, Muslims, and everything, but they want them to go ahead and do it away with their teachings and stuff. So here we have on the altar of woke ideology, they're trying to go ahead and get celebrated to go ahead and try to change it up because of the fact that it says hard R in it when it doesn't even mean what they think it means.
Well, here's what I think. You have, again, a group of people who think that they are smarter than we are, who think that they are the end all and be all gatekeepers of gaming, who want to be offended on behalf of people who never asked them to be in the first place. All right. So Shift Up, which I believe that's a Japanese game dev company. Considering that's graffiti art, which you would see pretty much in any urban area. Shop, I'm like, hey, okay, I can see why they did that. The two together, I honestly, it's one of those things where you look at it, it's like, okay, it's just a little cringe putting them two together by accident, which I do believe is what happened. They weren't thinking like that. It's cringes. Yeah. Insulting? No, not really. Racist? Definitely not. Because you have these people out here who will see racism in everything. They'll see racism in a hot dog. And these people throw around this term racism with zero knowledge of what it is.
And yet they never experienced racism themselves.
Exactly. They want something to be offended by. This is obviously one of those things where it's like, okay, yeah, we can see how that would look. But this is not something where it's like racism. I mean,
I guarantee you all this right now, that those who are accusing and stuff, they're the people who are from these different big companies and all of that, as well as like possibly any consulting firms and stuff that's putting this out there, trying to be hidden under like different online accounts and stuff, social media accounts and stuff. That could be bots and all of that. But guess what? It's like this is all coming down to the old tricks and stuff. Yes, I'm calling them old tricks because we're aware of what they're doing right now. All right. Even the normals are aware of it. And you know what? I wouldn't even surprised because these are the competitors and stuff, people who are competing against Stellar Blade and stuff. And guess who's actually conforming to it? Sony. They're foolishly trying to censor.
Yes, look at this. Right now. After they complain to Sony, then supposedly they go and replace it. I'm like,
Sony's weak.
I'm disappointed, but I'm not surprised because that's the environment right now that we have in gaming right now. Well, I shouldn't say in gaming. I should say our overlords in gaming that want to be offended by everything, who want to have the power to push these companies to do what they want. So Sony, not a good look, Bendon either.
But I do have to say this though, if you look at the before and after photos, it looks like they went for a shinier, even glossier outfit for our girl. So her, her assets do kind of like pop. So they were like, okay,
I'll take that trade.
yeah.
I would totally take that trade.
Yeah, they were like, okay, we'll do something for you and we'll do something for ourselves.
Your terms are acceptable.
Yeah.
They're just upset because of the fact that their characters got bigger butts than their characters do.
You know what? Yeah. And if you think that's hilarious, we're going to get to it, I promise. You think that's hilarious. Fortnite now lets players block overly confrontational emotes, sparking vociferous debate. First of all, I can't stand Fortnite anyway, but it has nothing whatsoever to do with the emote. So I'm sorry. People are upset that, if you get taken out, you get yeeted, you get that headshot, and they decide to do the dance emoji, take the L emoji, emote.
Yeah.
When did this thing about hurt feelings come along in gaming? I mean, I don't understand.
We've been seeing it creep up for a while. We had, what was it, last year? A guy got banned from a tournament for teabagging his own teammate. That's been a thing for a while. It's just a thing that's going around now. People, and typically it's by people that are not good at games. They don't like being taunted. They don't like being made fun of. But I'm like, you know what? Like, that's real life. Like, we all grew up back in the day. It was video games, but it was also like, you played basketball, you played football, whatever you're doing with your friends, you suck at it. Everybody's gonna make fun of you. It just happens. I mean, you just build we're just slowly like building this entire like generation of like thin-skinned people that can't handle any kind of like confrontation, can't handle any kind of like talk. And the idea is, and the banner under it all is supposed to be like, oh, we're doing it to have fun. Everybody has to have fun. Games are about fun. I'm like, well, part of the fun is a competition. Like, it's like if everybody's just sitting around, well, you can't lose at this game. You just walk around and do nothing and stuff. It's like, what's the point? What are we even doing? But it also, a little bit to me, is a bit of like I'll call it an op. I think it's also kind of trying to prep kids for like the day where we're like all be the day that they're hoping for will all be on Meta, like sitting in social circles, just sitting around talking to each other in like virtual rooms, stuff like that. You can't have problematic people in there. You can't have old school people in there talking trash and starting fights and causing problems, stuff like that. So it's kind of pathetic. But if you do Fortnite, you go after one of the biggest games out there, then other games are going to try to follow suit and do the same thing. So it's pretty pathetic though.
Also reinforces mediocrity, right? Because it's like, dude, get good, scrub, is what we used to say right there. Little trash talk. Yes, it can be hurtful sometimes. Not saying that it can't be, but it can also be the inspiration to do better and actually, throw that trash talk back in their face, kind of thing, like a good, I don't know, anime or manga would provide. Right. So it's like, why take this part out? I mean, again, I think Mike actually has a pretty good read on this. It's by people who aren't good themselves. So it's like, okay, well, please stop harassing me or whatever is the excuse here.
The same people that want this to happen are the same people that complain when like Elden Ring is too hard. I'm like, okay, well,
where's the easy mode?
Where's easy mode? Yeah, well, I can't play this because I'm not good at this game. I don't know how to get better. I don't want to get better. I just want to play it, and then put a review out and then walk away. It's like,
But wait, Mike, my friend, Sony's going to try to solve that problem for you, bud.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
they're gonna give you an AI to solve the game for you.
Like this voice.
It's pretty wild.
Terrible. Absolutely.
I gotta laugh because Oh, and I'm glad CJ brought this up. These are the people that fail at the tutorial level of Cuphead. Man, and maybe it's just me, but if I'm playing the game, I expect to die spectacularly within the first couple of seconds. And if you've ever played Cuphead, man, you will die a lot. That's part of the fun. It's just like, how am I need to figure this out. But that's what games used to be. You weren't able to just like beat them, right away. And when I would play video games with my nephew, he would be like, Auntie, you're beating me. I said, suck it up. I'm not gonna be easy on you. Come on, you're gonna get beat by a girl. Come on, where your game at? Where your game at?
Gotta get better.
Constantly talking trash. I said, if you can beat me, you can pretty much beat anybody. So I'm like, it's okay. Walk it off. We'll get better. We'll get better. Walk it off.
I got a bad feeling about that in your future, Lorena, because let's suppose y'all play another game and stuff, and all of a sudden he beats you. Get prepared for all the trash talk he has prepared for you.
Oh, it's all right. I ran into that. I'm like, yeah, I had that coming, but hey,
you gotta take it now. Like all of a sudden they start beating you, and you go, yeah,
you got
better.
You do. Like you said, Auntie, I beat you. I said, well, even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. So I'm awful. I'm
all right.
so freaking awful.
Oh, man.
Oh, I try. It depends. I can't. Competitive games, please. I used to scare my mom when I would play like Doom Eternal. She's like, that's not very ladylike. I'm like, I got demon skill. Speaking of demons, not to kill but to escape. Disney Entertainment CTO Aaron LaBerge exits to join Penn Entertainment. ESPN and Disney veteran will help develop ESPN Bet for the gambling company. What's up with the exits happening? And this is the chief technology officer of Disney, basically saying, deuces, I'm out of here. What's up?
I don't know.
I believe as he was leaving, he was like, I'm leaving to get into the creative industry now. That's what the joke is, right?
Damn!
That's hard.
Mic drop, right?
Yeah, right.
I slammed it.
Culture, I'm sure you have a lot to say about this one.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get creative with how he extracts money from your pocket because he went over to Penn Entertainment. Yeesh. Those are those are Disney's partners, right? Vash in a little bit of a wagering enterprise.
ESPN Bet, you are right there, and hopefully Jimmy Pitaro is really betting on that, I'm sure, as he's in the race for a CEO-ship. It's going to be Dana Walden, by the way, guys, but it just these people have a chance, and they're making their moves for sure. I think Jonas described it as back in the olden times with royalty, right? Where you would marry off somebody in order to establish relations between two kingdoms. This is kind of that situation here, from what I understand. And look, I mean, Disney really wants to get into this ESPN Bet thing again. It's interesting because Bob Iger initially wasn't for this, then Bob Chapek was for it, and then when Bob Iger took the seat back from him, he's like, you know what, I'm for it now too. So this is definitely an ongoing strategy for them as they are trying to really find ways of making money because ESPN has its concerns, especially with the NBA contract maybe being swiped from underneath them, which would totally upend their Spulu ideas there. So they got to get they had to get deeper pockets quick, is what I'm saying. And so this could be a way of establishing relations between them and Penn Entertainment in order to more solidify this potential revenue stream.
Interesting. I know just in corporate America, whenever I see C-suite level people jumping ship, especially the CTO, he's been there, I believe, like 20 years. And I think he helped to launch Disney Plus. Am I wrong with that?
You are correct, as usual.
So I'll put it to you like I'll say this, especially someone who works in IT. When your CTO jumps ship, not to retire, Okay. But jump ship to another company
Yeah.
so he can be more creative. That's not good. That's not good. And if I were y'all, I would seriously, one, make sure this dude can give you a recommendation, and two, start looking for someplace else to work, because that is never,
Oh yeah.
never
Well,
a good sign.
Yeah,
For
that's usually.
clarification, he didn't actually say that. That was a joke, but
Oh, okay.
Oh no,
It's funny still.
we
It is still funny for sure.
You
Sorry,
were
Retro,
riffing
go
and
ahead.
we loved it. You know what? I've seen this happen so many times, just working in different companies, and usually that means that everybody below him in his, vicinity are pretty much going to be replaced with new people. Um, and maybe there may be just even a downsizing completely as they're moving more closely to using AI for everything.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people are eventually gonna lose their jobs at Disney. It's not just this department. It's just gonna keep happening because AI is they're using it, and I believe they've been using it for a while.
Oh yeah, especially since the we saw from Secret Invasion and
Oh.
stuff with the beginning credits and stuff.
And not just that piece of artwork or that piece of video, but I believe they're using it for assisting them with the writing. And that's that's alleged but it's when you look at their story, how it's laid out and everything, it really sounds like AI has asked Chat GPT to come up with something similar. You'll find there's a lot of similarities between the kind of stuff that Chat GPT will come up with and what was presented in that show.
Yeah.
Well, you are not wrong. And I'm sorry, who did I cut off by accident?
Oh no, you're okay. I was going to say something.
I was going to say you're not wrong, Retro Nerd Girl, because, and I don't have time to look this up, but I do believe Gina Davis, she had some kind of pet project a couple of years ago where you would have to run your scripts through that. This is a Disney, to run it through that program to make sure that it was diverse enough. I kid you not.
Wow.
And that was just a couple of years ago. But trust me, Disney has more than likely, especially if they're like any of the other IT companies that are out there, including one that I was involved with, they have had AI pilot programs out there for at least the past 2 years.
Yeah.
So they're already, the pilots are done. The prototypes, they're getting information for the prototypes. So they're already teed up with the AI that they've been doing already in the background. Now they're just kind of taking the wraps off it. Like, boom, here we are.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a reason the writer's strike had such a contentious, point over AI and replacing people, because they know that it's coming. They know that that's happening. But there's some really weird, really telling things that happen in movies. Like I talked about this with the sequel to Black Panther. Like if you watch that movie, they're almost never in the same place twice, which is really weird for movies. It's like they're constantly in different settings and different scenarios, which is indicative of an AI writing it, because an AI doesn't think about the fact that going back to a place or going back to a setting and a location multiple times is good for audiences to feel grounded and stuff. It's just weird things like that. But for a while now, there's definitely been a growing thing. But I also think it's funny that Disney basically kind of told us that that's what we were doing at the end of She-Hulk, where they just tell you basically Kevin Feige isn't even running the show. He's just a computer. And it's everybody's like, haha, that's funny. And it's like, yeah, but they're kind of telling you right there.
Yeah.
There's a formula. And it's basically, at this point, it might as well just be a computer writing everything and spitting out an algorithm on what works and what doesn't. Because that's about the only way to resolve these shows now and everything. That's why they become so formulaic. So I think it was inevitable, but holding them to the fire is going to require them to actually hire people on merit and on skill, instead of just checking boxes and hiring a diversity quota, which once again, there's nothing wrong with having a diverse group of people working on a project. The issue is if you're lazy as a company, you're not actually interested in having people that are qualified or skilled to do something. You just hire people that check boxes. You tell them to go sit down in their offices and have nothing to do, and then you have an AI pump out all the scripts, and you make sure that the sentences are coherent, and then you pump out these shows. So,
and these are usually with people who are younger hires. They're cheaper, less experience, which is going to lead them to also go ahead and just simply, be easy to control and stuff, forcing them to write this, that, and the third and stuff. And they're willing to write it and all that. But the problem is, these are activists and they lack creativity. And thanks to them, Disney is going to fail.
Yep.
Well,
yep. Absolutely. Oh, I'm sorry. Last point, Vash. Go ahead.
Last point. I thought it was really profound when Bob Iger, during the town hall he had right when he, took back the seat from Bob Chapek. This was going to be, I think, in the beginning of 2023, and he was asked about AI and its influence on art, and he just said, "Hey, usually CEOs of that caliber would say something like, oh, well, there's always going to be a human touch or whatever. I think it's really important to preserve and stuff like that. Obviously, it'll have an influence." He basically came out and said, oh, we will definitely be exploring that in the future for sure, especially when it comes to AI animation, art, and so forth, which, a little after that comment was made, well, a lot of people end up striking. So it's something that Disney has actively pursued and has admitted to pursuing and will pursue in the future, I'm sure.
And I will add one more point. This is AI is actually getting really, really good at helping them to make bigger decisions by kind of predicting what is going to be popular or not. Now, I don't think it's there yet at actually being completely accurate, but this is where people like our CTO here his job is in jeopardy, because if you can get an AI to tell you exactly what the procedures are going to be for doing X, Y, and Z, well, you don't need him anymore. You just distribute the work amongst people. The problem is the human touch, that human element of connection. I love that. That's missing from all of their stuff. It feels like that it's slowly going away. They're slowly losing the connection to the audience. That was actually there for this company, and is slowly moving away. It's really
Exactly.
sad
It's
to see.
very formulaic, and people can pick up on how formulaic it is, because when you boil down AI, and Larry actually said this, algorithms are formulas. Yes, it's pretty much what it goes on, how many hits it gets, and it learns the more that you do. And that's kind of what happens with that. But people can tell the difference between something slapped together with AI and something that has such an amazing creative process to it that it's absolutely undeniable. And of course, I love Shogun. Now, Shogun, this is actually a well, I don't even want to call it a reboot, but it sounds like a dirty word, but it's true. A reboot of the original miniseries based on the James Clavell novel. The original Shogun, when I saw that miniseries I think I saw it on cable, I was so impressed with it that I checked the book out of the library, and the book was this huge, and the librarian's like, well, this is kind of advanced for a fourth grader. I said, I don't freaking care. I want to relive the miniseries. So you get now this version of Shogun that's airing on Hulu and on FX, executive produced by Hiroyuki Sanada. If you do not know who Hiroyuki Sanada is, you need to look him up. He was in probably the best part of the new Mortal Kombat movie. You also saw him in John Wick 4 as well. He's well known in Japanese cinema and
Rush Hour 3.
Yeah, Rush Hour 3. They knocked this out of the park. I mean, with the storytelling, with the fact that so much of it is told in English subtitles, but you don't even freaking care because the acting is so good and the sets are amazing. The costuming, I didn't. If this series does not win an Emmy for costuming, they got freaking robbed. They absolutely got robbed. And you just get so wrapped up in the storytelling because it's the storytelling that
I think they're
gets
gonna be
you.
worried about cultural appropriation accusations.
Nah, not when it's the Japanese guys doing it.
You'd be surprised.
Oh, no, they're not going to push back on this guy. And this is why. With how much Hiroyuki Sanada has been in entertainment, the credibility that he gives to it. Actually, well, I take that back. He did get some pushback because somebody who I forget what idiot said why aren't there any black people in Shogun? It's like, please get out of here with this. We don't really care about that. Hiroyuki Sanada wanted to make sure. Oh yeah, go look it up. Go research it. Go look it up on Google because I had to clap back at that. I'm like, dang, do we got to be in everything? Shoot.
Yeah.
Just enjoy this. And Hiroyuki Sanada wanted to make sure that pretty much all the actors, unless it said so in the book, were Japanese. As many people of Japanese ethnicity working on this series, and he purposely wanted most of the dialogue spoken in Japanese and not the predominantly of it, in English. He was very adamant about that to keep tight control of the quality of the show. And when you see it, now that all episodes are available on FX, it is gorgeous. And it just reminds me of that storytelling where you just get so wrapped up in, like, for example, when I would watch Kung Fu Theater, freaking loved that. Didn't care if it was in subtitles.
Yeah. Oh, I loved it.
You just loved the absolute story of it.
The best stuff has subtitles.
Oh, definitely. I have to agree.
How many of you guys on the panel have seen this? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Bash.
Well, no, I was just going to say I am super excited to see this series because this sounds just right up my alley right here. I've heard nothing but amazing stuff for this series. And that's the thing about Hiroyuki Sanada. I mean, you remember him from John Wick 4, which is interesting because he's not in that for very long and he has to make a real impression really fast because, well, unfortunately, for those who haven't seen it, he has an untimely demise pretty early in that film. And yet he makes such an impression with the screen time that he's given. It just tells you just the mark of a fantastic actor. And so to see him in something like this is just it's a real treat. The stories that are surrounding this production have become almost legendary now, and you don't really hear that from a new series. So I'm very excited to dive into this world for sure.
Yeah, I haven't watched this show. It's on my radar. It's one of the things on my list. I have an ever-growing list of things I have to watch, and so every time something good comes out, I'm always excited. But I'm like, oh no, where am I going to fit this in? But like, just to a broader point, we have definitely seen a very big pushback on stories set in certain cultures or certain time periods and things like that, and them going, hey, we're going to cast accurate people to those roles, and we're going to stick to the time periods and the traditions and the story and the history of these times. And there's been this weird pushback because that's antithetical to like what's happening a lot of times, specifically in like America and Hollywood and stuff, is like, well, you can't do that because we have to have a timeline in a world where everybody gets together and everybody all works together and stuff. And so you see articles, and I know we kind of already joked a little bit, but like, yeah, you see articles like where are all the black people in Shogun and things like that. And I'm like, that's weird. That'd be like, setting a story in like Ethiopia and being like, where are all the white folk? Like, you're like, there aren't any. Like, they're not there. They're not supposed to be there. I don't frankly want to see them. Like if but I kind of love, one of the things that people don't seem to realize is like people like in China a little bit less so, but in Japan and stuff are very proud of their culture. They're very proud of their history and where they've come from. Even the bad parts of it, they're not quick to shy away from those kind of conversations and stuff. So I kind of love when they're like, you know what, you can't even tell us not to do this because it's not a made up world.
Yes.
Like you guys are doing. This is our world and this is our history. And so to me, that's almost an antidote to what's happening now, because if you tell a story in a historical time based on what's actually going on in that time and what actually happened, and not just fantastical, like adding all these weird decisions. We see that a lot now too, like like the Woman King, and I'm like, that's not even what actually happened in that time. You could have told an interesting story there without needing to like change all the facts of the story. It's like them telling a story about their history means that people get to enjoy how awesome human history is and how amazing these stories are and how amazing some of these dynasties like came to be. So
Yeah, one other thing I want to say about this is that you don't get too many Japanese led stories in mainstream. So this is really nice. It's not kind of nice, it is very nice to see this. And I think it's very disrespectful to keep trying to change stories, creativity, and also, what people are honestly telling from their heart to fix some sort of politically correct thing. Like that makes it politically wrong, actually. That actually makes it politically wrong. And if you have a story to tell that you want to see told with the people that you want to see on screen, go ahead and tell that story. But to continuously bombard this idea, where's the diversity in the Norsemen? No, don't mess with that. Don't mess with that. That's that story for those guys. It's gonna be awesome. But when you
100%.
throw in this artificial diversity, it just is jarring and weird. Well, where does this character come from and why are they there? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. 100%.
The director for Northman actually got some flack, right, for defending that whole thing. Like he was asked, "Why is no diversity?" It's like, well, it's
he pushed back pretty good. I think he defended his position well, so he took care of that.
I personally thought it's disrespectful to even ask him that question, to be honest.
It is because like as we've talked about before, like if they actually took the time and weren't so lazy and started getting into like stories within like African culture and African history, which there's a ton of stories, and even in myths and fantasies and legends and stuff. It's so many, and if they took the time to actually do any of that, it would break that victim narrative that they constantly trying to push of like, oh, you know what, like sometimes like people that like there's actually successful like stories and people that have like had rich histories and lineages and all that stuff, but they're trying to push this victim narrative all the time. So like it's co-opting other people's stories and going like, well, their stories are more interesting. It's like, well, they're not. They're all these stories are just as interesting as the other ones. It's just that you don't want to take the time to do that. You want to co-opt everyone else's stuff and try to insert yourself into all of that instead of actually taking the time to like know it. Because a lot of these people, and we've all kind of said it before, some of the most racist people out there are the people that are screaming for like diversity and representation, because they think the least of everyone around them, so yeah.
It's just insidious. I mean, because great, obviously I am not Asian, okay, but one of the things that I loved about watching Kung Fu theater was you got immersed in another culture's storytelling. And that was the point. And it's also, to bring up another example, and I'll drag Disney into this because it's freaking perfect. Shang-Chi and the 10 Bracelets. Disney thought that they could make a better Asian-themed martial arts film than the Chinese. And then you had Simu Liu, who basically acted like he was, I think he said something like he was the first Asian martial arts hero. We're just like,
Yeah.
bruh, do you not know about Bruce Lee? Do you not know about Jet Li? Do you not know about Donnie Yen? Do you not know,
Jackie
about
Chan.
Well, he was the first,
Jackie Chan.
Remember, he was but then they had to frame it like, well, he was actually the first Asian superhero starring in his own film, which he wasn't, because we also had, once again, Bruce Lee, in the Green Hornet, and they're like, yeah, but like he was the sidekick, and it's like, no, he wasn't the sidekick. Actually, that was kind of the point of that character. Is it's they've got to fit that narrative or whatever, and ignoring the fact that they erased another character, like an Asian character in that actually owns the 10 rings and runs that, the Mandarin, in favor of like going like, well, how can we get rid of that character and make something less, I don't know, problematic, or I don't know what they were thinking with that, man.
Well, I mean, especially since I kind of deal with a lot of retro stuff, and just discovering how many people don't know about the things that preceded them. I mean, I just chalk it up to ignorance, but and I don't necessarily blame him. I definitely blame society for not really giving us like actually, I don't blame anybody. I don't blame anybody, because I think it's left to each individual to kind of find their own to find out what happened, where who was the first, and it's up to you to do the research to find out what the earlier movies are that inspire the things that you love or the things that you want to do, because that's what I'm hearing from a lot of the younger generation of actors. It's just the lack of knowledge of where or who has done what they are doing now ages ago. None of it is new.
Yeah.
Which is you're not special. They want to hear that they're special, and that's something that a lot of people don't want to accept.
Exactly. It's like this. The history only started, with them, and it's just like no, it really did not. People want to see authentic stories from other cultures told and presented in an authentic way. If I'm going to see the Northmen, I do not want to see a bunch of Asian people as Vikings. If I go, like, say, if I want to watch, an Asian film, I don't expect to see like a bunch of white people in it. I mean, it really is insulting. It's insulting to the culture, and it really takes away the chance for you, to learn. Like, I look at these scenes in Shogun, and I'm like, I've been to the Japan Pavilion, I don't know how many times at Epcot, but there is an actual like entrance into, like, it looks like into to a Japanese capital, Japanese fortress that looks exactly like this. And all of the costuming that they have, all of it, is all of it's authentic. And I just looking at this, you look at it, and with the quality of this show, you are transported back literally to that point in time. Yes, there are European ties, but it fits with the history of the times. You had, the Portuguese who were basically, out there first, trying to get riches from the East to bring them, to the West, their little clandestine base in Macau. So go up and look up the history of Macau. All of that lines up, and that's one of the lovely things about this series. They're not preaching to you. They're not preaching to you. Yeah, they're not preaching to you at all, and they're just telling you this story about this daimyo who finds himself in a very untenable position. And you're just how is this dude going to live through all this?
How many episodes are there so far?
It is 10 total. 10
Maybe
total.
I'll check it out.
They released it each week. which I'm glad that they did, because everyone ended on a cliffhanger. And you're just like,
Wow.
I got to go back. I got to go back and find, and find out what happens in this show. I mean, and all the characters, I know I'm kind of mogging along here, but I'll let some other folks talk to, especially who've seen the show. No characters are wasted in this miniseries.
Shout out to Arlene Nova with a comment saying, "Don't deny me my Filipino Viking ancestry."
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And actually, I want to get the Bosco super chat too. Thank you so much for that $10 Canadian super chat, Bosco. Guy Scar was on the show last week. Thank you for those. Let's see, 5 loonies and no 5 toonies. No.
Yes, 5 toonies.
5 toonies and 10 loonies. Okay, there we go. I can do math.
5
Thank
toonies
you.
or 10 loonies. Yeah.
Thank you. This show was great because it kept true to the culture thanks to Hiroyuki Shinada not bending the knee. We'll be reading the book. This has been a breath of fresh air. Makes me want more. Well, thank you. Yeah, and I totally agree. This series has made me want to go back and read the book. Probably will get the audio book because I'm way too darn busy, but I still want it. It truly is a breath of fresh air when stories are authentic that just grab you in and you just want to see what happens and you feel like you're in that time period. It's just amazing. This is just me and other folks who have seen it can opine. I did not find my time wasted when watching this. I'm actually going through my second watch of the series now that I have all the episodes, because there's stuff that you didn't really pay attention to and it turns out to be relevant like at the end, and it's like, okay, what did I miss in the beginning? Yeah. It is just a pleasure to go back and watch and just get immersed in a story and people's motivations and not think, okay, what lecture am I going to get? Am I going to get told, how evil, Europeans are and colonialism and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, you're not going to get that. You're going to get Hiroyuki Sanada's character, who finds himself in a very, very untenable position when the one shogun dies, and then I think the heir apparent is too young, so he has to rule in his place, which makes him enemies with all the other daimyos, and he has to figure out how to navigate this. And when John Blackthorne shows up, Englishman craps on the shores, he's just like, how can I make this work for me? And that literally is the whole thing. How can I get this to work for me? You have a love story between John Blackthorne and oh my gosh, I'm forgetting her name. It's a darn shame that I forgot. Mariko. Mariko, who is a Christian convert, but she's a Catholic. John Blackthorne has issues with her because she's a Catholic and he's a Protestant. But you find this love story that develops because Mariko speaks Portuguese, speaks English, and speaks Japanese. So you'll get these translated things between the two of them. And there's moments that only the two of them share together as they learn each other's culture. And that's another thing. Hollywood forgets, some of us actually do want to see romantic stories that that go on and see that relationship that develops when you see the beauty in each other's culture. You try to meet in the middle, literally and figuratively, so to speak. It's just great to see. It's refreshing to see. There's tons of femininity in this show. There's tons of masculinity. In the show, and it's just such a great watch. Anybody else want to add anything onto Shogun?
This the photos that you're showing right now are just spectacular and really do highlight the costumes. I believe we were talking about that either before the show or during during this time here. I mean, it just the costumes look absolutely amazing, and yeah, you would be underserving this material by attempting to inject forced diversity into it. It is so great that we can actually have something so authentic and so true to the actual the actual material, the source material for this. It's interesting whenever you have like these historical epics like this or genre films and so forth. To force diversity into those things in such a manner that it really kind of breaks the escapism. It breaks the immersion that you would otherwise have. So it's really important that be preserved and maintained. And it's so reassuring that they actually have done that here. And yes, like you said, Lorna, death of romance. Come on, where can we get some romance in some of these films and so forth or TV shows? It's great that they featured that as well.
Yeah, here they are. I love it.
There you go.
It was so
Love
good.
it.
Oh my gosh, it was so amazing. It was so amazing. So yeah, definitely do check out Shogun. 10 episodes. It's available on Hulu and also on oh my gosh, I don't want to say Freebie. I think I saw it on Freebie too. So worth watching. Highly suggest that you check it out, especially if you love period dramas. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So we're gonna go from what was amazing, and Hughes, I think we're gonna lose you, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, I wish I could stick around further, but I got some other things to tend to and stuff. But I will see if I can check out Shogun though.
Definitely, I think you would really enjoy it.
I hope so.
Where can folks find you, my dear?
Find me on YouTube with Views with Hughes Jennifer News, where I talk about the current pop culture news as well as what other YouTubers are discussing and all of that from the perspectives of the independent news media outlets. So tune into that.
All right. Okay. Well, thanks so much, Hughes. Good seeing you as always.
Bye-bye, everybody. Nice meeting you, Mike.
Yeah, nice meeting you too, man. Thank you.
Okay, folks, make sure you subscribe to Views with Hughes, agenda-free news. His details are in the description box. You can go ahead and pop on over there and subscribe to him. Let's get to our other subject, and this is a subject I definitely wanted to bring Epic Mike in on, and this is the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So it's this movie, honestly, I saw the trailer and I kind of chuckled at the trailer. I said, this looks like absolute fun. I like Guy Ritchie's directing style. I know he's not for everybody, but I happened to like it. And from what I'd heard, well, this is new right here, but from what I'd heard is that the box office take was lower than what was expected.
Yeah, that's actually the first I saw anybody say that it was actually doing better. So, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I was surprised. I'm like, when did this come out? And I'm guessing that people didn't really think that it was going to make all of that money, but like with good storytelling, I mean, this is just basically your World War II story. It comes from one of Winston Churchill's declassified files, which I believe was declassified in 2016. I believe someone wrote a book about this. I'm forgetting the name, but I definitely have to download it. Where you get your group of miscreants together to do a mission that only they can do, and if they are discovered by the British, they'll get thrown in prison. If you're discovered by the Nazis, well, basically they're going to yeet you and take great pleasure in doing so. So that's literally what this movie is about. It is too much fun. Seeing Ian Fleming in the opening minutes, I'm like, wait, what? Bond, Ian Fleming?
Yeah.
Yes. you see him, and it just goes on from there. It's such a great I want to say ensemble film. But
Yeah.
I'll let Culture. I'll let you opine some more on this film.
Well, I have to tell you, this is one of those that I absolutely love. Operation Postmaster was exactly everything Lorraine has said, and this is a special group of operators that were the miscreants. It's, Inglorious Bastards. It's kind of the people that didn't belong anywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think they were called something like Special Commando Number 62 or whatever, but this group anyway. And what was great about the film is obviously they took a lot of dramatic license. That's so that there's no way we would know what the language was between any of these
Right.
people, the dialogue, all of that. But it was based on something that actually happened, and it did open the door for the United States forces to join the war in World War II. This location that they had to infiltrate required a special group of people who didn't mind being disavowed the entire time they existed, and they had to head down south to Africa to intercept a ship and destroy it that would essentially take care of all the supplies for the submarines, that the U-boats, the German U-boats at the time. And what was really cool about this is they took you on a side quest on the way there, kind of like a little stop off. They had to do a jailbreak
Yeah.
at a German prison camp, which was a great way to start this off.
Oh my
And
God.
on a scale of 1 to 10, as far as Guy Ritchie films specifically goes, this lands at about a 7. Because it had the witty banter and the dialogue and all of the Guy Ritchie mannerisms that are in things. And every single character was performed perfectly by the person that got it. I mean, in your mind's eye, because you don't know what these people actually were like in person. But what was great about it is they had their own very well-developed character. Guy Ritchie does a good job of giving you that kind of character development throughout his film. No, you don't know their backstory or whether they like waffles or anything like that, but you do know all the important elements. And even the female spy that was involved in this existed. So it wasn't like, you didn't have a femme fatale, vixen, spy lady that didn't know how to use her feminine wiles, which were actually a big part of the plot in this. So at the end of the day, between the multiple action scenes that there are and everything else that goes into this, because it's a lot of plot and intrigue and, spycraft and all of that, it's a very satisfying film, which really didn't get the financial backing that it required. But as far as a movie goes, this is a movie. There's plenty of foul languages here. There's over-the-top violence. It is, and there's a lot of wit and craft that goes into telling the story. It's one of the reasons I respect Guy Ritchie because, from Zero to The Gentleman being the best thing you could watch, this thing did pretty well. And it really represented quite well the himbos, I'll say it that way, that were involved there. Because there was a lot of eye candy for the ladies. So I'm surprised the ladies are not raving about the eye candy. Anyway, those are my thoughts, and that's kind of the background. And I will give away nothing more of the plot because you should see the movie. So.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, going with what Culture said, all the characters are very well cast. Henry Cavill's character, I mean, I wasn't quite sure if I was going to buy in, but when they brought him out of prison, with Ian Fleming, and I think Churchill, I don't think he was there, but they have him in there, and he's just kind of shooting banter, and it's like, oh, why don't you have some tea? Henry Cavill's character's like, okay. He goes right straight to the whiskey and pours the whiskey while he's like, you're getting details about what's going on. He's grabbing the cigars and putting the cigars in his pockets and all that. And then when he leaves, he like offers one of the guards a cigar, and they're just like, yeah, okay, I guess I'll take one. He's like, no, I don't think so. And he is determined to get himself a Nazi jacket. He's like, I gotta get one of those. I got to get one of those. So literally throughout the film, and this was just me, I'm like, is he going to get that? Because he keeps talking about that. He keeps remarking about that. But it's a lot of fun, even with the phrase, Do you realize your nipples are connected to a car battery? I mean,
There's some wild lines in this movie. Yeah,
that's great.
Well, doesn't he also say yes? But could you please unplug me or something like that?
Yes.
It was so civil. The conversation is incredible in this film. Again, it's Guy Ritchie, so the dialogue is brilliant.
Yeah, Guy Ritchie's really good at dialogue. It's funny because I think that Guy Ritchie's gotten a little bit more heat recently with because he's had some flops. But I kind of feel like it's because I just feel like Guy Ritchie's this is not the culture or the landscape for Guy Ritchie films. Unfortunately, I feel like it's more the time that he's in, less about his film quality at times. Because I think Guy Ritchie's a pretty solid director, but also when he's doing movies like Aladdin, you're like, what are you doing? Like Aladdin, like that's not a Guy Ritchie like vehicle. Like what do you know? I enjoyed this movie. I was surprised because I feel like I feel like this movie's been getting a lot of heat, and we mentioned that at the very beginning. Like, yeah, maybe especially with Alan Ritchson and some of the stuff he's been saying in the press. But like, I thought it was pretty entertaining. It was what I expected from a Guy Ritchie film, which is never a bad thing. I feel like when you have a director that okay, I'm probably going to get this kind of a thing from him or her when they do a movie. Guy Ritchie or Edgar Wright, or Quentin Tarantino or whatever. You go, okay, there's going to be an energy there, and I feel like that energy was all through this movie. And also, like, yeah, I thought Henry Cavill did a great job. I thought the cast had a surprising amount of chemistry. I didn't know when I saw the trailer. I was like, how is that gonna work? Because we see this happen a lot now, where they just grab people and throw them all into a movie together, and you go, how's this gonna work? But like everybody kind of gels pretty well together. Right from the word go, and I actually really appreciated that. I know I got to get going pretty soon here, unfortunately, but I did want to mention this, and because Lorena, I saw you back me up on this on Twitter a little bit. There's been a lot of heat, and people kind of celebrating and kind of cheering that this movie is not doing very well because they're mad at Alan Ritchson. And here's the thing, like that, for lack of a better term, like that's kind of some bitch made stuff right there. Like, I don't know, that to me, that's the same kind of thing that when you see a movie doing well, like when the wrong kind of movie or the wrong kind of game is doing well, like Quentin Tarantino makes Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's doing really well, and then they're screaming at him about why he didn't give Margot Robbie more lines. I'm specifically calling out, like, I guess for, once again, lack of a better term, like SJWs and stuff. Like they're screaming and getting mad about him doing well, or a movie does flop, that they're like, finally, blah, 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 this problematic person isn't doing well, and I'm so happy about that and stuff. It's like, you know what? If he said something stupid in an interview, then be mad at him. And if you don't want to watch his stuff and don't want to support him, please do so. We should always vote with our wallets, and we should vote with our finances and stuff. But to celebrate a movie not doing well, like, well, on the same vein, like, Henry Cavill's in this movie. Do you want him to... Let's just be making fun of him for all his flops? Like, no, most of you guys want him to do well, and you want him to succeed, and you want his star power to have some kind of pull and have some kind of influence and stuff. It's like, so you don't get to throw the baby out with the bathwater, unfortunately. And I think that sometimes that nuance and stuff is lost in the fact that, you know what, I don't agree with what he said either, but he's an actor. Is his character okay in the movie? Yeah, I thought he did fine. He's a little fruity, but like, whatever. Like, I was like, okay.
You're so right.
Yeah, he's a little fruity in the movie. I was like, okay, but like, it's fine. Like, I don't know. It's like, I don't have to agree with his take on the world if he did a decent job in a film and did a decent job acting and stuff like that. And yeah, that's a good way to say it. He already got paid for this. Go see the movie and support Henry Cavill, or go support the movie and support mid-budget movies and stuff like that. Movies where they're going to let you take more risks and let you try different things instead of some of these, big budget formulaic movies that we've been getting and stuff like that. I don't know. So yeah, that's just a little thing I wanted to mention, because I find it very surprising to watch people celebrating a movie not doing well because of an actor that they don't like. in it versus like, oh, the movie's not doing well because it's pushing identity politics, or a movie's not doing well because it's trying to preach or whatever. It's like this movie's just out here trying to have a fun time with an interesting story. And I love the fact that Ian Fleming was in this too. I was like, that's so rad. Like,
Mike, before you leave, I want to ask you, didn't this feel a lot like a late 80s, early 90s kind of an action movie?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And that's the thing. Like that's the energy that everybody keeps screaming they want to recapture, is like, we don't have these, and stuff like that. It's like Guy Ritchie has a very interesting like vibe to him. It's very stylistic. Like, because you have, what was his first movie? Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that kind of energy. He's never really lost that kind of a vibe and energy in his films and stuff. And so to see him doing a movie like this, I was like, okay, this is pretty good. It reminded me a lot of like Inglourious Bastards. It's not as irreverent or as intense or as ridiculous, but it had that same kind of feel to it. And I'm like, we should be celebrating movies like this getting made and wanting them to do well and wanting more movies like this to be made. Got a bunch of like, manly dudes and like you said, feminine women out here fighting and causing mayhem and shooting Nazis, and like, yeah, we can celebrate that. Why can't we all get behind that? Instead, people are like, yeah, it's not doing well because Alan Ritchson said some stuff in the media that I don't like. And I'm like, okay, like I don't want to hear him talk either. Like, I'd rather just go make movies and shut up. Like, you were Aquaman. How big of a like opinions should I hang on you? But like, I don't know. At the end of the day, I thought the movie was fun. I thought it was way more fun than it was going to be, even just based on the marketing. But I also think that that's kind of indicative of today. I don't think even Hollywood knows what to do with people like Guy Ritchie anymore, or even Edgar Wright anymore. I just don't think they know what to do with these guys, because the culture is the landscape right now is so up and down, and there's minefields everywhere, and nobody really knows how to navigate this world like they used to. It used to just be give them the money and let them make the film, and we're not getting that anymore. It's kind of a lost art form, which is very unfortunate. So yeah, I'm glad that you guys liked it, because I was surprised. I was like, what? This is a movie everybody's like, kind of talking about. I was like, this is actually pretty fun. So
yeah, it was just a blast. I mean, seeing Henry Cavill in the Nazi jacket and the hat, walking with the gun, saying "Guten Abend," and then double tapping people.
Oh yeah, he's just walking around just prap. Like, yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, man, this is great.
It was just fun. It was fun, almost, I want to say it gave me Indiana Jones and not the Temple of Doom. Probably the first one.
The Last Crusade?
Last Crusade. It kind of gives you some vibes like that, with the Nazis, but just fun. And oh my God, the soundtrack. Okay. Love the soundtrack, especially the music from that era that they seem to pull from. It's amazing. I'm like, I have to get that soundtrack. It's just people seem to forget how crucial the music is to the film, and it pairs up absolutely perfectly. And for people who are thinking the femme fatale is something fake, no. Female spies during World War II. Yeah, that was.
There were a lot of them too.
A lot of them. So, Mike, thank you so very much for joining us. I sure do appreciate you hanging out with us. You want to let the people know where they can find you?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me. It sucks I got to leave. I triple booked myself today, like always. But I love being able to come on the show and meet new people and meet see old faces and hang out with you guys. I think this is important to be able to jump in and talk to different people and have different engagements with different people and have different kind of conversations about films and stuff. So I really appreciate you having me here. You could catch me mainly right now over on YouTube. I'm really grinding over there. I've had a YouTube channel for like 2 years. I've done nothing with it. But I've been doing a lot of live streams, really pushing over there on YouTube pretty aggressively. We're like halfway to the first level of monetization. I've been doing, like I pretty much live stream almost every day over there, and then I've been getting into doing some videos and stuff as well. It's been a really fun time. You can catch me over on Kick. I'm multi-stream kind of all over the place. And then keep your eye on Epicverse Studios. It's an independent studio that was founded by me, my buddy Josiah Rises. We're doing the thing that everybody criticizes us of not doing, which is actually, if we don't like it, then do something about it. And we're actually doing something about it. We're setting out to make it independent films that are entertaining and are just fun, enjoyable movies again,
wonderful.
which I feel like is a lost art form. So yeah, we'll have a lot more news coming about that in the very near future. I think you guys will be surprised at how much stuff we're ready to just kind of throw at you guys when we get going. But yeah, thank you so much again for having me. It really means the world. So I very much appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate it, Mike. Thank you so much for coming by. You have an open invitation to drop in on the show anytime. So sooner we have you back, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I will definitely be back. It was really nice to meet you guys, and hope the next time I will not double book myself, and I'll make sure that I have plenty of time to hang out with everybody and talk about this stuff. Because yeah, I'm already digging the vibes here and stuff like that. And I'm always lurking and watching streams, so I'm always surprised when somebody's like, "Hey, you want to come hang out?" I'm like, "Absolutely." So yeah,
awesome, awesome. Thanks. Take care, Mike.
Thank you. Take it easy.
See ya.
Yeah, folks, you have got to go check out Epic Mike's channel. Let's get him on.
Oh, I just subscribed. Yeah,
awesome, because he's such a cool guy. I'm so glad to have him on. I first streamed with him over on I think on Film Threat. For Versus. We were reviewing the American Society of Magical Negroes. Go back and watch that episode of Versus. Oh my gosh, it was hilarious. It was so funny. You can see Epic Mike with X-Ray Girl and Sebi spreading democracy later tonight. All right, then. All right, you guys go and check that out. And Captain, you put this one up here. Churchill's Secret Warriors, the explosive true story of the Special Forces Desperados of World War II by Damian Lewis, not the actor, available in hardcover and paperback with 416 pages. I will be purchasing that for sure, because let's just say, well, first of all, my grandfather was in World War II, and he would always talk about how they had to cross the Atlantic in those ships. He was just like, he was not anxious to try to go. But one of the parts of this film that they tell you is that Americans did not want to get involved in the war unless they could guarantee safe passage of those ships across the Atlantic. And if you think that, the Germans were only hanging out, in European waters, no. They were as close, or where I was, the New Jersey shoreline. They were patrolling the Atlantic shoreline of the United States repeatedly. So that was a very, very realistic threat. And I'll leave with this last quote, because this dude cracked me up, the so-called king of Fernando Poe. He said, "I don't hate them because they're Nazis. I hate them because they're so damn gauche." And I love that line.
Yeah,
I love that word too.
Yeah, the Prince was great in there. He was awesome. Yeah.
Oh man, that line just had me in absolute stitches. It was
love
great.
war movies. Love this genre of film for sure. I'm looking at the kind of the domestic box office performance and everything, trying to get a gauge on how well this is actually going to do right here. It looks like it has an A- cinema score, which is pretty decent for a film like this for sure. It looks like it debuted with a $10 million opening weekend domestically, which is good. It goes wide, I believe, tomorrow internationally. So we'll have to see what the international market brings to this. $60 million budget. Looks like there is a chance it could leg out, but again, we'll have to see what the international market does with something like this. The UK could very much support this. I hope it does.
I think I'll suggest this, that not a lot of people know about this film because it was not properly advertised or promoted. I mean, of course, people in our sphere had heard of this thing. We've been talking about it. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah. that's the difficult thing, right? Because you could see from a studio's perspective, maybe to contain those costs, if they don't really believe in a picture, maybe they don't support it with a big advertising spend. But at the same time, it's like, oh, could this find an audience somewhere with a spend like that?
It also didn't get a lot of theater support. I mean, it's only in 2,800 theaters versus something like Abigail, which is, in a lot more theaters. So it's in 3,300, 500 more theaters. So there's a reason why some movies do better than others. I mean, per theater average for Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare is slightly higher than Abigail. So it's hard to say. I mean, Civil War is, per theater average is down as well. Tuesdays and Wednesdays are not really big theater days as far as revenue goes.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at those numbers and I go, these movies are all not separated by very much, which tells you that there's not a lot of good there's not a lot of good films, and there's not a lot of interest in any of these films. I mean, you are looking at a day where the top 18 films are only going to clock $6.7 million total.
Wow.
That's not a good number.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Oh, well, I am hoping that by word of mouth that the box office will go up, but definitely when this releases on digital and on physical media, I really think the numbers are going to take off, because just the photography, the ensemble cast, it's, one of those films where no throwaway characters at all. And you emotionally buy into this film very easily. And definitely check out, because I'm not going to spoil it, definitely check out the credits at the end. I love so many films that are about what I consider to be truly the greatest generation, considering what they had to go through to successfully win this war. It just blows my mind. I think even blowed my mind more than when my nephews were playing Call of Duty. What's it World at War? The one about World War II. And my grandfather saw it and he's like, wow, this brings back memories. He thought it was he got it. He got a kick. He got a kick out of watching that. Okay, one last thing I'm gonna show you guys, because I love ending on something really, really fun. I love Jennifer Lewis. Jennifer Lewis also does the voice of Flo in Cars. I freaking love her. She also does the voice of Mama Odie. So this is the animatronic that's going to be in Tiana's Salt Mine Hobby Lobby Floral Aisle Adventure. But I love this animatronic. I absolutely love it.
It's outstanding.
It's really good. I mean, this AA specifically is the one that I really, in that compilation of all the AAs that we saw, obviously, people have their opinions about Tiana. I don't necessarily think it looks all that amazing. I'm a little hesitant about the choice of wrapping for Louis the alligator, especially around the jowls area. I think it just wrinkles in a way that it shouldn't. But this animatronic right here just looks breathtaking. It looks like a character come to life from the animation page to the actual 3D environment like this. It's really, really cool.
It's an excellent replica. And it looks like they've managed to make her look realistic without creepy being the uncanny valley, which I'm finding with the other animatronics, it does kind of have that uncanny valley, like doll-like look instead of that looks like you can actually have a conversation with her, like sit down and talk to her. Of course, she's just so this actress is just so incredible. She's like singing and dancing during this video, just like me. Such a natural performer.
I love her, and and this is the question I'll throw at Culture, so we can wrap up. Do you think that this animatronic looks so good and moves so well because I want to say it's like a smaller scale than the other ones that we've been shown for this attraction? Or do you think that perhaps they just spent more time and forethought into this animatronic?
I think they put a lot of this obviously has a lot of planning in it, and one of the other things you hit on is that the smaller the animatronic, the more you have to plan very carefully the movements and what it can and can't do. So the performance that was imagined had to be built into this character. So, and also the other thing that Disney benefits from most of the time is if they make a small animatronic, they can put it in more places. They can put it higher. They can create that forced perspective look. But look, this character also was designed with a head and face that isn't going to tear. You're not going to see a lot of wear and tear in this character where you see wear and tear in things like Ariel in the, Ariel's, whatever you call it, the ride thing, the seashell thing.
The Under the Sea Adventure. It's creepy.
Yeah, it's just long, but that thing tears or gets weird or bends up its facial features and stuff. I think the alligator, I mean, we've talked about how these figures will age. But you're very astute in pointing out that this one looks more realistic. It performs more realistic. It's more like what you see in the film. And I think you're right. Not to mention the fact that you don't have the uncanny valley of the eyes.
Oh yeah, those eyes
because of the glasses. So
I think the sunglasses they help this.
Yeah.
They lean into the stylization a little bit more than attempting to make a realistic version of Mama Odie. That helps as well.
Yeah.
Ariel's Lunch Adventure. I love that because if you look at Ariel in that last scene, in the wedding scene, her head's bigger than her waist, which is hilarious. She looks like a little child up there because the first perspective is all wrong. Yeah. It's hilarious. But Mama Odie looks awesome. I think they really they got that one down pretty nicely.
Yeah, I mean, one of the last ones I think they nailed was when you're falling backward in the wonderful Viking attraction that we have in World Showcase. Yeah, Nordstrom.
Maelstrom.
Nordstrom. Good job there, Culture. But anyway, yeah, when you're falling back, I think Elsa looks pretty good there. The biggest problems, and they've realized this now, they've got to get away from rear projected faces because they have issues. Many. And we're about to see just how well all electric animatronics work around water.
Yeah.
Elsa, that animatronic is impressive only really because her waist is so thin. And so to get that much machinery up there is really a feat of engineering. But you're right, Culture. I mean, not just water, but Bayou Mist, right? So let's get ready, folks.
I can't wait for the magic mist.
Yeah, magic mist.
Like a
Well, folks, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us for the Spice Lounge. We hope you've gotten a variety of pop culture topics to be interested in and we chat about here. Once again, thanks to Epic Mike for popping in on the show. And let's go around real quick, shout out our channels and let people know where they can find you. Let's start with a Retro Nerd Girl. What you got going on and where can people find you, my dear?
Oh, yeah. You can find me on my YouTube channel, Retro Nerd Girl. I do a lot of retro content. Retro movies is what I usually review. And do some live stream watch parties as well. I think, Reina, you might be coming over to do a watch party with me this Saturday. Possibly.
Yep, I'm planning on it.
And so, we, just come on over to my channel on YouTube and see if there's anything there that you might want to take a look at and preview. And also see if you can join us this Saturday for the watch party.
Okay, well, definitely check that out. I believe we are going to be watching The Fall of the House of Usher, the Vincent Price version.
That's 1960.
I believe so. Yes, can't wait. Culture, what do you got going on? Let folks know about.
Well, I've got a bunch of videos that came out this week. I didn't drop one today because I wasn't inspired to create one. The stories around everything else I cover on the 6 Minute Daily weekdays, Monday through Friday at 7:45 a.m. Pacific, which is 10:45 a.m. Eastern, and wherever you are in between. Do check out that show. It's something that I enjoy doing very much. I will have a very special review of Zendaya's Challengers coming out, if not tomorrow night, then on Friday morning. I'm very much excited about it. I think you will be too. I'm doing something special.
Oh, okay.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Looking forward to that, because that is a film that I did not feel inclined to buy a ticket for. So I'm going to depend on your review culture.
I don't think a lot of people did. Looking at the early projections between 7 and 12 million, it's not going to have a booming weekend. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, Vash, what do you have going on to let the folks know about and where they can find you?
Well, you know about That Park Place, you know about the Theme Park Universe podcast, but you might not know about T3PO or That Park Place Podcasts Online, the new channel that just debuted as part of the That Park Place network right there, showing highlights of both live streams from WW Pro and also That Park Place, but with exclusive content as well. Actually, this morning, interestingly enough, we just debuted episode 2 of the Hollywood Backlot with Lou and you, taking all the questions that you have for Lou Washman's Ghost, who is just a fountain of information right there. It's a lot of fun, folks. You definitely want to check that series out. And on Friday, the public debut of The Genre Guys, going over Forbidden Planet. That was a ton of fun to make into a video as well on its own on the channel. So please go ahead and give T3PO a subscribe. And tomorrow, I'll be on That Park Place Live, noon Eastern, I believe. Yes, I think that's right. Yes, noon Eastern. And hopefully we'll be joined by Culture Casino and maybe some other guests that you see here on this panel. So please go ahead and give those channels a watch, and subscribe. Whatever you do, thank you for supporting us as much as you have.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And yes, I am planning to drop on That Park Place tomorrow. I do believe there's a poll on X about what we should talk about, and it looks like the Cuban sandwich is in the first place.
No,
eat before, Culture. Eat before. No,
you guys are making me eat
complaints here.
early. You're making me eat early. You guys with the Cuban sandwich.
I tell you, got it. We need a Cuban sandwich member emoji actually for the channel. I can see that coming up right now, folks. As for myself, of course, you can find me tomorrow on That Park Place at 12 noon. Let's see what else is going on. Oh yeah, tonight at 8:30 p.m. you can catch me on the Dark Council show over on Fatal J's channel. Yellow Flash is going to be guesting on the guest appearance on the show. You don't have to go anywhere. You just keep this browser open, and to end the show, guess what? You'll be routed right over there to the Dark Council show. For Friday, I will be live for Field Force Friday over at Galaxy's Edge. I'm going shopping for Sith gear and decided I'm actually going to try the blue milk. So that's
don't do it.
Isn't what there's green milk too? I heard? Isn't there green milk too, or is it just blue one?
There's green ones, but I figure I'm gonna try the blue one, and I will compare it to what Beverly tastes like. That's gonna be my benchmark. So check that out on Friday. And on Saturday, I will be live at Universal Orlando. We're gonna be having fun checking out what's there, going through the Simpsons Land, and of course, checking out the construction progress of DreamWorks Land. That's over to see how much they've got done of Shrek Swamp. I hear it's coming along very, 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 very well. Try both green and blue, the Reina Creole. Go big or go home. Yeah, the things I do. Things I do. Y'all will get a kick out of that. All right, folks, make sure you subscribe to everyone on this panel. Thank you so much for supporting the Spice Lounge the way that you guys do. Thank you so much to our amazing, amazing panelists. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.